Welcome back to History Highlights. Today we are diving into one of the most controversial and significant figures of the 20th century, Adolf Hitler. In this video, we'll explore Hitler's top 10 blunders, decisions that shaped world history. So sit back, relax, and let's embark on this captivating journey. Number 10. Declaring war on the Soviet Union without consolidating conquered territories. In 1941, Hitler made the fateful decision to launch Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. However, his ambition clouded his judgment. Rather than consolidating the territories already under German control in Western Europe, Hitler plunged headfirst into a vast campaign across the Eastern Front. This critical blunder left Germany vulnerable to a two-front war, stretching its military forces and resources to the breaking point. The inability to fully secure conquered territories meant that German troops faced persistent resistance from partisan groups, creating further logistical challenges and weakening the overall war effort. As a result, Hitler's decision to declare war on the Soviet Union without consolidating conquered territories stands as a strategic miscalculation that significantly contributed to Germany's eventual defeat. Number 9. Ignoring military advice. Throughout his time in power, Adolf Hitler demonstrated a dangerous inclination to dismiss the advice of his military commanders. Driven by his own intuition and an unwavering belief in his strategic genius, Hitler often disregarded the expertise and experience of his generals. This detrimental behavior resulted in a lack of coordination and cohesive planning within the German military. Hitler's insistence on micromanagement and the imposition of his personal ideology led to a climate of fear and mistrust among the top military brass. The result was a fractured command structure, weakened morale, and missed opportunities on various fronts. Hitler's interference and refusal to heed sound military advice were key factors that contributed to Germany's inability to capitalize on advantageous positions, coordinate offensives effectively, and adapt to changing circumstances. It is a sobering reminder of the consequences when leaders allow their ego and ideology to overshadow the wisdom of experienced professionals. Number 8. Failed assassination attempts. The history of Hitler's regime is also marked by several failed attempts on his life. From the famous July 20th, 1944, plot by German officers to numerous other clandestine efforts, numerous individuals sought to rid the world of Hitler's tyrannical rule. However, to the astonishment of many, Hitler managed to survive these assassination attempts. While the plots themselves varied in their execution, the outcomes remained the same. Hitler continued to lead Nazi Germany with an iron fist. The survival of Hitler not only prolonged the war but also maintained his destructive influence over the course of events. Moreover, the failed assassination attempts, though valiant in their intentions, resulted in the loss of numerous lives and valuable resources. In retrospect, had any of these attempts been successful, the trajectory of World War II might have been altered significantly. Thus, the failed assassinations of Adolf Hitler not only underline the resilience of his leadership, but also remind us of the unpredictable nature of historical events. Number 7. Poor strategic decisions in North Africa. While much of the focus of World War II is often placed on the European theater, Hitler's poor strategic decisions in North Africa cannot be overlooked. The campaign in North Africa, particularly the struggle between German General Erwin Rommel and the British Eighth Army, was a crucial battleground. However, Hitler's interference and strategic misjudgment severely impacted the German position in this theater by diverting valuable resources from the successful Afrika Korps and frequently changing commanders. Hitler weakened the German position and ultimately contributed to their defeat in North Africa. Despite Rommel's tactical brilliance, the lack of consistent support and a clear strategic direction from Hitler hindered the German war effort. The failure in North Africa not only deprived Germany of a potential stronghold, but also boosted the morale of the Allied forces. This blunder highlights the importance of strategic foresight and effective decision-making in the theater of war. Number 6. Focusing on the Holocaust. One of Hitler's most heinous acts was his obsession with implementing the Holocaust, the systematic genocide of millions. Hitler's warped ideology and anti-Semitic beliefs consumed a significant portion of Nazi Germany's resources and manpower. The pursuit of the Holocaust diverted vital personnel and materials from the war effort, significantly hampering Germany's military capabilities. While the exact extent of the impact on the outcome of the war is debatable, There is no denying that the resources allocated to the Holocaust could have been better utilized for strategic purposes. Additionally, the atrocities committed during the Holocaust further alienated Germany from the international community, deepening the moral repulsion felt by other nations. The revelations of the Holocaust solidified the determination of the Allied powers to defeat the Nazis and bring an end to Hitler's reign of terror. Thus, Hitler's relentless focus on the Holocaust can be considered a strategic blunder that not only squandered valuable resources, but also intensified the resolve of his adversaries. Number 5. Failure to secure the British Isles. In 1940, Hitler's failed attempt to invade and conquer the British Isles during the Battle of Britain marked a turning point in World War II. The Royal Air Force's successful defense against the Luftwaffe denied Germany a potential base of operations and dealt a significant blow to Hitler's plans for European domination. Despite initially gaining air superiority over British skies, Hitler's decision to shift focus away from targeting British airfields and cities to indiscriminate bombing of civilian areas, known as the Blitz, allowed the Royal Air Force to regroup and recover. This strategic shift gave the British the breathing space they needed to bolster their defenses and ultimately repel the German forces. The failure to secure the British Isles not only demonstrated the resilience and determination of the British people, but also exposed Hitler's flawed military strategy. Had Germany been successful in invading Britain, it could have severed a vital lifeline for the Allied powers and potentially altered the outcome of the war. Thus, Hitler's inability to conquer the British Isles stands as a significant blunder in his military campaign. Number 4. Underestimating the resilience of the Soviet Union. Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941 was driven by his belief in the superiority of the German military and the perceived weakness of the Soviet Union. However, this proved to be a grave miscalculation. Hitler underestimated both the military capabilities of the Soviet Union and the determination of its people to defend their homeland. The vastness of the Soviet Union, coupled with its harsh winters, provided significant challenges for the German forces. The Soviet Union's ability to mobilize its vast resources and manpower, coupled with effective guerrilla warfare tactics, wore down the German war machine. The Battle of Stalingrad, in particular, marked a turning point in the war, with the Soviet Union's successful defense dealing a devastating blow to the German army. Hitler's failure to recognize the strength and resilience of the Soviet Union played a pivotal role in turning the tide against the Nazis on the Eastern Front. Number 3. Declaration of war on the United States. Following the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Hitler made a fateful decision, declaring war on the United States. This move brought a powerful enemy into the war, diverting German resources from the European theater. It was a strategic blunder that significantly contributed to Germany's eventual defeat. The entry of the United States into the war brought with it a formidable industrial and military power that greatly tipped the scales in favor of the Allied forces. The German military found itself fighting on multiple fronts, stretching its already strained resources and capabilities. Hitler's decision to provoke the United States demonstrated a lack of foresight and a failure to comprehend the potential consequences. The involvement of the United States ultimately sealed Germany's fate and marked the beginning of the end for Hitler's regime. Number 2. Operation Barbarossa delays Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union, was a massive undertaking. However, Hitler's decision to delay the launch by several weeks in 1941 proved detrimental. It allowed the Soviets to mobilize their forces and prepare for the German attack, reducing the element of surprise and giving them a better chance to repel the invaders. The delay also meant that the German forces had to contend with harsh winter conditions, which further hampered their progress. Hitler's hesitation in launching Operation Barbarossa compromised the initiative and momentum of the German forces, ultimately contributing to their failure on the Eastern Front. The delays proved costly, as the Soviets were able to mount a strong defense and launch counteroffensives that pushed the Germans back. It was a critical blunder that significantly impacted the outcome of the war. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the number 1 blunder of Hitler's career. Number 1. Invasion of the Soviet Union. Hitler's decision to invade the Soviet Union in 1941 was his greatest blunder. This campaign stretched German forces and resources thin, leading to a costly and devastating defeat for the Nazis. It was a turning point in the war, marking the beginning of the end for Hitler's ambitions. The invasion of the Soviet Union was an audacious undertaking, fueled by Hitler's ideology and a desire for Lebensraum, living space. However, the sheer size and resilience of the Soviet Union, coupled with the harsh conditions and determined resistance, proved too much for the German war machine. Hitler's decision to engage in a war on the Eastern Front diverted valuable resources from other theaters, strained supply lines, and overextended the German military. The campaign in the Soviet Union became a quagmire, resulting in massive casualties and sapping Germany's strength. The failure to secure a swift victory on the Eastern Front allowed the Soviet Union to regroup, rebuild, and ultimately launch a successful counteroffensive. Hitler's decision to invade the Soviet Union remains his most catastrophic blunder, one that sealed the fate of Nazi Germany and shaped the course of world history. These 10 blunders, spanning from military miscalculations to ideological obsessions, had profound impacts on World War II and the course of history. Understanding these mistakes allows us to gain insight into the complexities of wartime decision-making and the consequences of leadership. We hope you found this exploration of Hitler's blunders both informative and thought-provoking. As history enthusiasts, it is crucial to delve into the mistakes made by leaders and their implications. Join us next time as we continue to delve into fascinating chapters from the annals of history. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. Feel free to leave suggestions in the comments, and feedback is highly appreciated. See you next time!